The Stage Door Show, celebrating the independent artist. With your host, Dave Hondel.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Stage Door Show. Tonight my guest is making her second appearance on the show, and we couldn't be more honored that she's back. She's a prolific singer-songwriter that has taken country music by storm, and she just wrote and recorded a new single, Pick Your Poison, that has thousands of hits in just a short time, and I can see why. It's an amazing song. So please welcome back to the show, Miss Makenzie Phipps. Welcome back, Makenzie.
Oh, well, thank you so much for talking with me. I very much appreciate it.
Absolutely. And what a song, man. Powerful anthem. You know, it just to anybody who's been hurt by a significant other. I mean, this song is just really, really, it's very powerful. And, just congratulations on this, release. And I know you've had thousands of hits already on it. So talk about this song, because I know that you wrote this by yourself and released it. And, just like I said, amazing piece of work. So talk about the making of that song.
Yes. So for those that may be listening, I have a very adamant cat that I'm in a separate room right now, and he is throwing a fit. So if you hear little screams, that's him.
Wants to be on
but
the show.
As far as yes, he does. They always take the spotlight. But yes, Pick Your Poison. I am so proud of this song. I hope that this song is the 2024 revenge breakup song of the year. That would be incredible. This song, I just came up with it out of nowhere, and I had such a fun time writing it. I feel like it came together so perfectly. It definitely just came to life, especially when I got to work with my producer, Grady Saxman, and he brought on some insanely talented musicians that truly captured how I wanted this song to sound. And I have gotten such great feedback from the song thus far. It was a little bit nerve-wracking for me because, like you said, this is the first song that I have actually put out there that I wrote myself. All the other songs that I have out on streaming platforms, aside from my Christmas song. If you want to listen to Christmas music in July, then y'all can go check out that song. I did co-write on that, but as far as that song, all the other ones were pitched to me by a bunch of different people. So I was nervous as to how people were going to like the song or if they didn't like the song, but I was also excited at the same time to put something out there that's my work.
It's been one of those nights where the neighbors can hear us scream, and I know after this fight you'll go to that bar across the street, and I'll be left here all alone thinking, what the hell did I do wrong? While you'll be dialing up that phone, calling that girl I've known about all along. And I'm sure that she's just one of a kind, the perfect girl for every guy. I bet you talk to her all night. But if you come back home tonight, you may see hell at first sight. I threw that $100 whiskey out the door, flushed all them pills down the drain. You won't be feeling good no more. And I found your stash and lit it all over the floor. So when I pour that gasoline, hit right out to the porch. Well, I see your car pulling right behind me. You picked your poison.
But like I said, other than that, I have been getting some good feedback, so I will take it.
Absolutely. I mean, I've listened to it several times already and just fell in love with the song. It's just so well crafted, and the hook, the chorus, they're flawless. Really, they are. And like I said, and you said the musicians are amazing. They are. You really put together a masterpiece here, and like I said, just congratulations on that. And speaking of that, you've really been taking the scene by storm, really. And I know that you have a lot of influences when you were growing up with some of the greats in country music. And speak about that influence a little bit, because I think you're bringing some of that influence back into country music, which I think is well needed. So talk about your influences.
Yes, growing up, I listened to so many different artists in country music. I adored Loretta Lynn. She was one of the very first people that I ever started listening to. And I truly feel that Loretta was and is the queen of country music. I just loved everything about her. and I hate that I never got to meet her,
Yeah.
but I'm going to hold the Lord to that. But I absolutely love Loretta Lynn. I used to listen to Miranda Lambert all the time. I still do. Carrie Underwood, Jason Aldean, Luke Bryan. I listen to so many different artists, and I've gotten a lot of individuals on my social media pages telling me that I definitely have that traditional country sound to my voice. And that's one thing that I'm hoping to bring back into the world, because country has so many different genre spectrums, I feel, because you have pop country and rock country, blues country, rap country. You have all different kinds of spectrums of country music, but I'm definitely trying to bring back that traditional classic country sound. So hopefully I can continue doing that and people will agree that I sound classic country, at least with my twang.
Yeah, I mean, you do have the voice, that traditional country, but the sound, I mean, the music itself, the melody, I mean, there's a lot of modern twist to it as well. So I think it's unique. It really is a unique sound. And, I think people that listen to your music will find that, like I said, the country music is really blowing up right now. And I've been talking to a lot of country artists lately. And one of the things we've been talking about is, just how mainstream country is becoming, more so than it has in several years. And, you have rap artists and rock artists and, even, some heavy metal artists that are getting into the country scene. And, I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing, but what it is doing is I think it's shining a light on country music more than it ever has. So what are your thoughts on that? The country music scene right now is just blowing up. So what are your thoughts on that?
Well, like I said, there's just so many different spectrums of country, and I feel like at the end of the day, it is up to the listener as to what they enjoy listening to. Because I mean, I do listen to all of it. I listen to the pop country and the artists that are entering into that spectrum, and then, like you had mentioned, we're having other artists out there that may be in a completely different genre than country, doing some country songs. Like Post Malone is a very perfect example.
Yeah.
I loved listening to Post Malone, especially during high school when he had just kind of started blowing up. And I remember I listened to I Fall Apart and Congratulations, especially, and seeing him kind of dabble in country music, I think is cool and unique in its own way, because he does kind of have some country roots to his voice. And I think it's cool. And people out there, they may disagree and some may not like it, but I say just go with the flow, and there's people out there that will like it. And like I said, I listen to all different kinds. So it's interesting to see what people come up with in today's time.
Do you think with streaming now and a lot of platforms out there, do you think that has a lot to do with the reemergence of country music and more of a mainstream platform?
I do, because we do live in a world where social media basically has just taken over kind of the music industry. Because back in the day, I always tell people there's pros and cons to how music was back then, like in Loretta's time and Johnny Cash's time versus how it is today. I would have loved to have been back in the day, because at that time, these artists could go to radio stations and hand them their record and be like, here, play this. I'm going to talk to you about what I have going on. And they would just kind of put them on the spot. And I am a very talkative social butterfly, so I feel I probably would have done better in that time. But as far as today's world goes, I'm sure a lot of the older generation artists probably wish they had done music in today's time, because it is social media driven, it is streaming driven, and you're able to access music from all over the world. I mean, there's people from different continents, different states, countries listening to music in today's time. So I definitely do feel like social media and streaming takes a big place in today's music.
Have you ever thought of, traveling overseas to do, because I know that there's a lot of countries that are really kind of getting into the country scene, Europe, especially, there's a lot of country fans in Europe. Have you ever thought about touring over there?
I would absolutely love to. If the finances were there, I would absolutely love to. I am right now trying to be in the process of getting out there in our nation, just getting on the western coast, getting on the up north, down south. I've had so many people on my page. They're from all over the states, all over the cities and countries. And I'm hoping to one day be able to branch out to visit with a lot of them.
Well, I'm sure you will. I mean, definitely, like I said, the talent is definitely there, and the drive and the work ethic is definitely there, which brings me to my next question. How do you handle the attention that you're getting? Because I know that you've been interviewed by some of the major platforms out there, television platforms and magazines and whatnot. And, how do you handle that attention as an artist? And, it's got to be, first of all, gratifying for all your hard work that you've done. So what are your thoughts on that? And how do you handle that?
I just take it day by day. At the end of the day, I always tell people that speak with me about my career in music. What you see is what you get. I'm a very easygoing person. Like I said before, I love to talk. So it just means the world to me that people out there are actually connecting with me and wanting to speak with me about what I have going on in my life, in my music, in my career and everything. So I always appreciate individuals like yourself taking time out of their busy schedule just to be able to speak with me and to get my name out there and get my material out there for individuals that may not know about me to learn about me. So I just go with the flow, and I have fun doing what I'm doing.
Hey everyone, it's Dave Hondel, host of The Stage Door Show. In the world of entertainment, standing out is key. Whether you're an actor, musician, or athlete, your brand's digital identity matters. That's why I'm excited to tell you about uBrand Hub, the ultimate tool for promoting your brand. As a proud brand ambassador for uBrand Hub, I've seen how their platform can transform your online presence. Think of it as a link tree on steroids. With uBrand Hub, you can create a unique URL, synchronize your brand across websites, social media, YouTube, and more. It's all about making your brand cohesive and unforgettable. Sharing your brand has never been easier. With secure sync share via QR codes and NFC cards, you can effortlessly connect with your audience. Plus, uBrand Hub gives you a competitive edge with real-time lead generation and management, keeping you ahead of the game as your contacts engage with your digital hub. So if you're ready to elevate your brand's digital identity, join me and many others in the entertainment industry by signing up for uBrand Hub today. Trust me, you won't want to miss this opportunity to shine. Visit ubrandhub.com, that's ubrandhub.com, and start your journey to a higher brand. That's ubrandhub.com. Let's make your mark together. And stay tuned for more amazing interviews on The Stage Door Show. Keep shining, everyone. Well, and I think that's a good attitude to have towards it, because I think a lot of times people that, get notoriety and fame and so forth, I think to stay grounded, I think it makes you kind of handle things a little better. I think,
it definitely does.
Yeah, right?
I got started doing interviews when I was kind of younger. I know a lot of people now say that I am young, and sometimes I may not feel as young as I am, but I am only 22, and I got started doing interviews basically when I was about 19. And I can definitely say 19-year-old me doing an interview is a lot different than 22-year-old me doing an interview, because I was so new to talking to people in the music business and just in the public eye. And I was like, I have no idea what to say. I'm going to keep it short and simple and pray I don't say something stupid. But in today's time, I just love what I do, and I love being able to express my enjoyment for music and being able to share my music with people. And I just have fun with it.
Well, talk to our listeners out there, our artists out there that are listening right now, and like, what's a day in the life?
Oh, Lord, a day in the life. Well, I can give a perfect example, especially like for this weekend. So I currently reside outside of Nashville, Tennessee. And for 2024, I decided to split my time between Tennessee and my home state, which is Virginia. I moved to Tennessee last year, so I was wanting to get as many shows lined up as I could for 2024. And in doing so, I didn't want to leave out my hometown support around the West Virginia area. So, for example, like this weekend, I will be leaving for a show in Virginia, and I always have to pack up all of my stuff because I will be staying overnight. It is a 5.5-hour drive, which is not terribly long, but it is long. And thankfully, I have family still down in my home state that allow me to be able to stay at their house so that I don't have to worry about some kind of hotel expense and everything like that. And to just kind of make it easy on myself as well as Shane, which is my backup singer and guitarist. But we travel all the time in my little car. I used to have a truck, and that thing just took too much gas. It was extremely big, and I just didn't really need it. So I decided to sell the truck, and I'm able to fit everything in my little car. People ask me how, and I'm like, I don't know. We just do it. We have like a little jigsaw puzzle.
Yeah.
But we love getting to travel and go out to all of these different shows, and we set up our simple sound system. We have a Fender Passport, and it is just incredible. I've used it for years, and it's easy set up and tear down. And we go out there and we just perform for all these different kinds of people. We get to meet new people, and then we pack everything up. We get home at late hours of the night, and you shower and kind of try to decompress before you go back to bed and wake up and kind of do it all over again. So this job is definitely not for the weary. It's not for people that are not go-getters and do everything that they can to try to make it out there, as people say. I love what I do, and thankfully that is a good thing, because I know there's a lot of individuals out there that may be in a job outside of music, whether you're in an office job or a medical job or anything like that. And some people don't necessarily like their job, but I'm fortunate that I do enjoy my job. So all of the hard work and everything like that, it pays off little by little, and it's all in the Lord's hands at that point as to whatever happens, and you just keep moving forward.
Well, I think you're definitely on a fast road to bigger things and tour buses and people doing things for you. And I can see that in a very short time. Pick Your Poison is amazing song, which I believe I told you this before we were recording, but that's to me, it's a hit. I've been around music for 30 years now, and I can tell what is a good song and what is not. And this song is an amazing song that I believe is going to gain traction more and more. And like I said, congratulations on that piece of work that you wrote yourself, and, everything that comes along with it, any nominations that you get because of it, any awards that you get because of it. It's due to the hard work and the dedication you have to your craft. So again, congratulations on all that success.
Well, thank you. That truly means so much to me. I mean, it means the world to get a compliment like that, especially from you. I know you get to work with so many different individuals out there, and that just really does mean a lot to me. So I thank you very much.
And you have a tour you're in the middle of a tour right now, but you also, it goes into the fall. You mentioned Virginia and, Tennessee, but you also have some dates in Indiana, and I see Illinois on here as well. So what gets you up to the Midwest? Is that something that you have some fans up there?
Yes, I've had so many people from everywhere. Like, they're asking me, when are you going to make your way to California? When are you going to make your way to Wisconsin and Texas and Florida and Alabama and New York? And I hope one day to be able to branch out a lot more so that I can connect with other people out there that have been following my musical journey for a while. So we're going to have our fingers crossed that I'm able to do that here in the foreseeable future.
And also when you're in the Nashville areas, I know you live in the area, there's so many opportunities. There's kind of a two schools of thought. I mean, there's an area that there's kind of touristy, there's a lot of bars and a lot of, clubs to play where the tourists hang out, but there's another, kind of faction of Nashville that's really more for the songwriter and the artists that, workshop their writing and their skills, playing their instruments and singing and so forth. So do you get involved with that type of writer circles and things like that, where you can perform in front of industry people?
Yes, I love being a part of writers' rounds, especially just all over the cities. For a lot of people out there that may not know what a writer's round is, it's where a certain person or group or establishment likes to host a night where different artists, whether they're independent artists, labeled artists, anything like that, they get to come out, and one by one, there's pretty much like a group of 3 to 5 artists that are on the stage, and they get to write songs, and they get to perform the songs that they have written for everybody out there, whether it is released or unreleased material. And I love being a part of them, because not only do I get to connect with other artists, but it also inspires me to write different topics that I may not have ever thought to write about. And it kind of gives me a different style of writing, because I'm like, oh, that was a cool lick they got going on there. I can write something similar, or that was a nice little guitar thing that they had done. Maybe I can do something similar and everything like that. So it is definitely so cool to get to see how other artists and their brains work.
And as an artist yourself, if there's somebody for advice, let's say there's somebody that's looking to be a country artist and they want to move to Nashville and kind of get into that lifestyle. What is your advice? Because I know you've been there and you've done that. I mean, I guess being real here, what kind of advice would you have for somebody that's looking to do something like that, like what you've done?
I have always said to not be afraid of failure and to also just give it time, because one thing Shane always says to me is he always says it's a marathon, not a sprint. And some days you wake up and you go and do your shows and you go and do all of this stuff, and there may be an opportunity that comes up and you may be hesitant of it because you're like, oh, I've been kind of climbing up the ladder and I'm afraid that this opportunity may set me back some steps or it may boost me up some steps. And when I got started very young, I got started in the public eye at about 14. There were so many things that I was hesitant of doing that could have benefited me, but I let that fear of rejection or failure get the best of me, so I wouldn't move forward. And at the end of the day, you can't stay complacent. You have to take risks. You have to see if they'll pay off, or if they don't pay off, then it's a learning experience and you just take it day by day and you learn from it. And especially just taking it day by day, I've had parents come up to me that may have a young child that is doing music. And by young child, I mean in your teens, your early teens. And they're always like, what advice would you give? And I've been trying to get them to do this and all that. And I always tell them, I got started at 14 and I was playing in bars and all these different areas. And I had no stage confidence. I had no self-confidence. I was like, here I am, 14, playing for all of these adults that are drinking and having fun and living their life. And I'm like, what am I supposed to say to be able to key in with them and have them engaged with me? And I struggled a lot with that. But as I got older, I was able to kind of mingle with people more and be able to talk to them and just connect with them on a different level so that I was confident on stage. And now whenever I do my shows, I just go out there and I have fun, and I like to mess with people, especially shy individuals that may come to my shows and they sit in the back and I'll call on them and I'm like, where are y'all from? What are y'all doing here? What do you like to listen to? And I just,
They slip out the back door.
Yeah, I love messing with people, but I just like engaging with people and having them engaged in my shows.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely tell people, don't be afraid of failure. Take that next step. It could pay off, but at the end of the day, you'll never know what's going to happen if you don't attempt it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's good. I like that. What is let's gonna get into your short-term goal, like a year from now, this time, a year from now, and then also like 3 years from now? Like, where do you want to be in those time frames, like your short-term and long-term goals?
I love getting this question. So I always tell people when I'm asked that question, where do I see myself in 5 years? Where do I see myself tomorrow? I always say, if I were to become a household name like Miranda Lambert or Loretta Lynn, if I'm able to do that, then I will be 100% content. But if I'm able to do what I'm doing now and make an affordable living and be happy with what I'm doing, then I'm just fine with that too. So at the end of the day, it is all in what the Lord wants to happen to me. And I just let it roll and we see what happens.
Yeah, no, I think, well, I mean, just what you're doing right now is amazing. And, I can't wait to see what's happening in your future, because I know it's super bright. And, before we go, I just wanted to, I know I've asked you this before, but it was over a year ago. So I'm going to ask you it again, a reminder of my new fans. When it's all said and done, Makenzie, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to leave behind when it's all said and done to your fans?
Oh, that's a great question. What legacy do I want to lead? Just letting people know that I am me. What you see is what you get. I love putting out my music. I love paying tribute to all of the artists out there that have paved the way for country music and paved the way for music in general. And I just am so flattered and appreciative that my music out there is able to touch individuals in ways that some things may not be able to. And that is just satisfactory enough for me. And I and just so happy to be doing what I'm doing and that people out there appreciate what I'm doing.
That's great. Love that answer. How can people find you on social media, and how can they follow your career?
I am available on all social medias. I'm on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. I am growing those TikTok and Instagram numbers. So if y'all have either of those platforms, go give me a follow and check out my musical journey. All of my music is on everything that you listen to music on: Spotify, Apple Music, YouTube, the whole 9 yards. And for more information on me, you can go to my website, which is MakenziePhipps.com. I'll spell that for everybody because my parents gave me the most difficult name on the planet. It is MakenziiePhipps. And on there, you can check out what I have going on, and maybe our paths will meet.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much again, Makenzie, for being on the show again. I really appreciate your time, and best of luck to not just this song, but just the rest of your career. And we're definitely following that. And I want to have you back again at some point and let us know how everything went with your tour and what's new, and even if you just want to chat. So you're always welcome back.
Well, thank you so much again for talking with me. It was a pleasure. And again, I just appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedule to speak with me.